It's a pearl because of your great building here and your richness of heart.
Meron rin kami numbered about 25, but some of those who have fallen. And I can remember now, as of today, who were members of that club at the time, siguro ako lang naiwan. 1976. No, Lats was there. Lats is still there. Well, anyway, as I have told you, I started way back in 1976. And since I believe in the objects of KIWANIS, I have remained a KIWANian up to now and still actively participate. Because I think that is one outlet for anyone to grow in his lifetime, in leadership, or in kindness with others. I have not stopped being a KIWANian, and I have recruited one who have become already outstanding members of the club. Rector, I invited him. Yes, and Ben si Mike Walking, ang anak ko nag-invitay sa kanya. And the couple, Vilos, invited them as members of the club. All become outstanding KIWANians in their own right. And well, to start with, the first, when I began in 1976, I remained a member, an ordinary member, because I did not like to take responsibility. I was so busy with court cases. And it was only sometime in 1987 that I ultimately accepted to be president of the club, then lieutenant governor, then finally district governor. I was a district governor way back in 1992 up to 1993. But from 1982, and I hope this will encourage all of you, I have been attending practically all international and Asia Pacific conference. The first international convention that I attended was way back in Minneapolis in 1982, where Lodge was the district governor. And before that, we were in Bali with Governor Ben, with Jimmy Go, and Sergio Howe. We masterminded his election as district governor, because then we asked the Taiwan delegates, that was our Taiwan connection, and we asked them to vote for Lats in Bali. That is where I nominated Lats Aviola in Bali. And henceforth, we have attended several district conventions in St. Louis, in Florida, in several. I cannot anymore recall. When we had our district conventions, we attended these all because it enhances you. And I would urge you to become active, because if you become active, you become KIWANians for life. So I have probably considered myself now a KIWANian for life. I will die with my boots on as a KIWANian. And we have, I am now rambling because you suddenly called me up. Coincidentally, it would be of interest to you, for you to know, that the Asia Pacific Conference was, the bylaws of that was first conceptualized by Laz and by me. It was known as the Abiola Guidelines. It was not yet known as the Asia Pacific. It was the Abiola Guidelines, and we prepared with Laz the bylaws of the Asia Pacific Conference. And that is now, it has become so huge. And we are happy to say that the Philippines contributed, or Philippine South contributed to the formulation of Asia Pacific Conference. In fact, one of the first conferences was in Korea, and our representative there was then District Governor Emil Tianzai. But a very bad incident happened where he went there and he was bumped off in coming back to the Philippines by Philippine Airlines. And so when he came back, he got hospitalized because of the trauma and stress that he underwent. Imagine, wala na siyang kwarta. It was the kindness of some Korean KIWANIans who shored up his finances. And when he came back, he was hospitalized. So what we did is we filed a case against Philippine Airlines. And of course, the evidence was so overwhelming that the judge told Philippine Airlines, you better settle this because I will render the fullest of the prayers of the complaint. And so Philippine Airlines agreed to settle the case by giving 5 round-trip tickets to the United States. 2 of these was given to me and my wife, and the rest were for Emil and his 2 sons who joined the U.S. Navy. And so that's how it is. But incidentally, we used that ticket in going to international convention in, I think in Florida, in Orlando. And in coming back, my wife and I visited a property in Antelope Valley, Lancaster, business now, Los Angeles. And we met an accident. A speeding car hit the car while we were crossing, and we were hospitalized. Of course, ako masamang tao, masamang gamot. The only injury I suffered was probably a whiplash on my neck. Sakit yung leg ko, but my wife suffered fractures on her ribs. And so we were hospitalized. But then, in the United States it's different. Maybe you will know this. If there is no death, no injury, they will just exchange cards because it is now fully insured. But in our case, since there was an injury and we were hospitalized in LA, after undergoing therapy, we were paid by the insurance company $29,000. But we split this with a lawyer, with the doctor and myself. So we each had $9,000. And we used this in going to Europe. During my international convention in Europe, these grants, way back in 1990 to 1995. So the accident was a blessing in the sense that we used the money in going around Europe to stay there with Syria and Annie. going around Europe. We visited England, Belgium, Netherlands, Benelux countries, France, Italy, even Romania. What else did we visit? Spain, Portugal. We went around, we had a holiday. We even went to Australia, to Vienna. We went to Venice, we rode on the gondola. So, the accident was not actually one that should be remembered as a bad memory, but rather a blessing in disguise. Yes, we went to all the sites. We went to Rome. We went to Milan. We went to Florence. We went around. We went to Lourdes. We went to Fatima. So we went around. So thank you. So, be a governor. And the way I observe Moyo will speak, he would be good. He's a timber for governorship. If you become the governor, Moyo, you would outshine your father. Your father was a very good Kiwanian, a very dedicated one. And, I remember your dad spending his own money fighting the giant double line. He went to Manila on his own expense and won. And you all are beneficiaries of that. Double line reduced its charges because since Moyo's dad was a very good accountant, he went over all these charges, the records of double line, and ultimately double line surrendered after reaching, I think, the Supreme Court. So this is a legacy which your dad had given to Kiwanis. There are plenty of Kiwanians who you should remember. Kaloy Militante of our club was responsible for putting up the rehabilitation center in Bintana. He did it with the help of Nansuling Duterte. Now you see there that those buildings and some equipments, you should give thanks to Kaloy Milian. There are a lot of great Kiwanians. Saba, on the other hand, made a measurement of the exact kilometer rates from Davao City to Davao del Sur and to Davao del Norte. And as a result, the Davao and Public Works Highways adjusted its kilometers. And this was to the benefit of all passengers because charges in the bus was based on the number of kilometers you go by. There is another Kiwanian who probably you should thank. Boy Rayos and Sergio Hao. They were at the forefront of having this iodized salt. And we went around public markets and all around. We have succeeded, and our module of having salt, iodized salt distributed has been adopted by unison. There is another thing probably that you should remember. The smoking ban. The smoking ban started in our club because our president then, Rene Bolseco, was a chain smoker. And there were ladies at the time, our club, every time we meet, our wives would also attend. Our wives would attend, and it was a very lively thing because it was our wives who would say, "Oy, may meeting ngayon." It was an opportunity for them to attend. So we had a very good rapport with all our members. And since our wives were attending the weekly club meetings, they didn't like the smoke because it went into their hair and they smelled the smoke. So we started stealing his cigarettes. If we see his cigarettes, we would dip it into the water. And so there was no smoking anymore in the club. And then we expanded this to cover the whole in Davao. And so the late Rene Pagapatan also drafted some resolutions, and we pursued this in the city council. So if there is a smoking ban here in Davao, it's because of the KIWANIS Club of Davao. Another thing is, maybe you don't know, but as early as coincidentally, the iodized salt was not the idea of KIWANIS International. It was the idea of KIWANIS Club of Davao. We went around and people thought that it was a crazy idea, but it succeeded. Now another is the drug menace. During our time, we already went around the schools and told the students and told people that the drug menace would probably engulf us. And true enough, it is now engulfing all of us. And what happened to that? Because the KIWANIS Club of Davao City was very active at the time. We went around schools, attended convocation, and explained the dangers of the drug menace. You know what happened? The then superintendent of schools, Vicente San Vicente, issued a memorandum that there should be at least 30 minutes in the schools to tell the students that of the dangers of drug addiction. And so now it has become worldwide. As we have envisioned, it is now worldwide. That salt iodization, we went to the mountains as far as Mati, Davao Oriental, telling the people that they should use iodized salt. The same thing with drug addiction. And the memorandum of San Vicente regarding drug addiction became a must in schools when then President Fidel Ramos issued an executive order that this should be taught in the classrooms. But I don't know what happened. Cabinet followed us up. All right. We were so active, we attended all international conventions, practically all. And practically all district conventions. KIWANIS Club of Davao City, our wives would get angry if they are not allowed to sing during district conventions. Yeah, because Pasit Abiola was a good conductress. And so we would insist on entertaining the delegates with our choir. But then this has lost steam because now our wives or our husbands do not attend anymore our weekly meeting. Also, if you attend international convention, do not hesitate to participate.